In the name of God, we continue with the benefits of emotional intelligence. One of the significant benefits of having emotional intelligence is the ability of self-management. A person who knows themselves and their emotions well can manage their emotional state and can bring their emotional state to a positive one, controlling the emotions that cause negativity. You can control your motivations and motivate yourself towards your goals while managing the negative motivations that are holding you back from achieving them. Many emotions and enthusiasms can be considered as flaws. When you are struggling to reach your goals, suddenly an emotion takes you in the opposite direction. For example, when you are struggling to land a job, suddenly your ambitions and your lust, your anger will come in the way, preventing you from reaching where you want to go. So the most important thing is to have such developed emotional intelligence that you can control anger, disappointment, lust, and ambition to help you to accelerate and to reach your goals. Many times our feelings prevent us from reaching where we want to go, and they become an obstacle in our path. When you need to study or work, that's exactly when unexpected disappointments come, and you might feel a sense that this is not going to work, or that there are temptations everywhere. So, how can we fight against these temptations? By enhancing that skill of emotional intelligence, I decide how my emotions should function. It's not that my emotional decisions decide for me. I choose to control my lust and not desire so and so. I decide whom to desire, whom to love, whom to care. It's not that I suddenly fall in love or that I'm going to lose love. That's not how it is. And why? Because if you let the helm of your ship be in the hands of the waves, each wave will take you to a different place. Today a wave comes from the east to the west, and tomorrow another wave comes from the north to the south. Then this ship, which is your life, will never reach its purpose. Emotions are very changeable. They are affected by external factors. Meanwhile, if you do not control your emotions, you cannot win at life. The people you will encounter along your path around you are very intelligent individuals, smart, but they have not developed emotional intelligence. They know a lot, understand very well, and perhaps have been successful in their studies, at least in part. However, in life, they fail. They are always failing. In daily life, they start a job, but after a while, they become disappointed and stop working. Every day they start something, and after a while they abandon it. In marriage, they are inconsistent, and in relationships, they are unreliable, so no one will trust them. Why? Because these people have not developed the skill of indeed controlling their emotions. And this very important factor, which is much more important than having intellect and reasoning, means how to control your feelings, your emotions, and your motivations through intellectuality and irrationality. How do we react to the terrible situations around us in these times? Many times we react naturally, which means if I am attacked, I defend myself by attacking back. Would this help me achieve my goals? No. It means that a human being is more than just an animal. When you are attacked, it provokes you. Since you are provoked, this attack can be an aggressive attack, or it can be, for example, a glance. It excites you. It promotes lust in you. So how do you control your lust? Is it an attack? You react naturally, just like a donkey sees a female donkey. How would it react? No, lust awakens. It will take the helm of your decision. The donkey will start to bray. You do the same. When you see a girl you like, you start flirting with her. It's the same rhythm as a donkey when it gets excited, seeing a female. But developed emotional intelligence will control lust and will tell you, look, this girl is not your wife. None of that. It's a betrayal, and betrayal will ultimately lead you to poverty, distrust, losing your family, etc. In 2001, the intellect will analyze this emotion, which in this case is a desire, a lust. It will awaken that thought, the consequences of each decision, the consequences of each pleasure. This will help you understand that this path is not correct. So it will control it. It will extinguish the fire of lust. And then it will guide you to where you need to go. It's like you are steering, managing a large ship, and you have the helm in your hand. So when the waves come and try to take you to one side of the sea, you control it through your intellect. You say, look, there's a rocky area. So if I take the ship towards the rocks, it will crash against them and I will lose my ship. People who leave their lives in the hands of emotions will miss the boat of life, lose success, and are always doomed to suffer. In the end, they will become drug addicts, ultimately become disappointed individuals, and eventually lose sight of their goals. What is the difference? Many people will remain with the desire to achieve success, while others will move beyond desire and become successful. The big difference is emotional intelligence, how we are going to develop certain emotions and motivations, and how we will deeply root and activate other motivations that help us achieve success. So, a person who knows their emotions well and controls their emotions effectively will reach a point called self-management. They will achieve self-monitoring, which means they will keep an eye on themselves. This person will control their reactions and mood and will not allow themselves to be provoked by external causes. Why? For example, someone comes to insult me, to provoke me into insulting them back. So, how would you react? Naturally, you immediately start to react, or you keep thinking, analyzing what the appropriate reaction is for that moment. What is most convenient for where I am to achieve my goals? You are angry. Do not let that anger control you. You control your anger. You are provoked. You are excited. You are disappointed. You control yourself. Do not allow negative feelings to dominate you. And what happens when you continue like this? Your self-confidence is going to increase. One of the characteristics of having confidence in others and allowing others to trust us is sincerity and truthfulness. A person who has the steering wheel of their life in hand knows that lying is the key to downfall. And when out of fear, anxiety, or ambition, this Satan has the temptation and is provoking you to lie, then emotional intelligence comes in to control you, saying, look, if you lie today, tomorrow, to cover up today's lie, you will need to lie again. If the day after tomorrow you're going to lie again to cover up the lies from yesterday and the day before yesterday, then you need to lie again. It means it's a dead end, a no exit. If you enter with a lie to reach your destination, one day you will lose trust. If you lose trust, you lose credibility, and then no one will trust you, no one will collaborate with you, and no one will love you anymore. So emotional intelligence does not allow your fear, which is causing you to lie in order to supposedly protect yourself, to take over. So, since it makes you remember the consequences of lying, you will then meet the standards of trust, becoming a reliable person through sincerity and truthfulness, and that will help you become a great leader in the future. Furthermore, a person who already has intellect steering the helm of their life will not experience different states. They will not have today and tomorrow be different, because every day they are striving to reach their goals. They are not a person affected by emotions and do not care about what others say. Oh, how will they talk about me tomorrow? They do not care. Oh, what fear and dread will I face tomorrow? They do not care. They are not a person driven by sensations or feelings. So you are the one who directs the situation and leads your life. That person will reach a state of being responsible. One takes responsibility for all the facts. Why? Because every emotion is already under control. 2001. What leads us to fall into failures and sins is leaving ourselves in the hands of our desires, in the hands of our ambitions, in the hands of our disappointments. So out of fear, out of dread, out of desire, I will fall into sin. So tomorrow I will regret it, and I have to apologize. A person with emotional intelligence in control does not apologize, not because they are arrogant, no, but because they are controlling themselves. Before falling into sin, think about the excuse. Say no. I do not allow myself to fall into sin only to face the consequences and then to cover up the consequences by asking for forgiveness. No, this is not my path. I am not going to take that path to end up apologizing or regretting. That is the key to success. And this within faith and religious practice is called taqwa. Taqwa means an active piety in the human being in such a way that it controls their emotions and desires. Then that person will be a self-controlled person. He does not need surveillance cameras. Rather, he himself has the intellect monitoring all his actions and desires. I would never allow my ambition to lead me to fall into usury, bribery, or workplace violations. No, he himself is controlling that my ambition is causing me to take that bribe. But when I think about it carefully and leave this matter in the hands of intellect to decide, yes, emotional intelligence says, look, it's an ambition, and in the end, all the traitors will fall. If you betray those who have trusted you, then the day will come when you will regret it. So today I will not fall into that to avoid regretting it in the future. There are thousands of cases like this, brother. If you want, I will give you examples so you can understand it. A simple example. In the case of betrayal in the family, when a man sees a desirable girl, he likes her. So, what does emotional intelligence do? Listen carefully. Look, brother, we have 3 steps. First, you start to look at morbid glances. After the morbid glances, a series of sensations based on lust and sexual desire begin. And many times, unfortunately, that is called love in the West. I fell in love. To fall in love means that when I saw this girl, I liked her and wanted to have sex with her, period. That is love. What they define as love that comes only with a glance is lust. It is not love. It is not that you have fallen in love with her ethical or moral qualities. No, you like the body and that's it. What you desire from that body is sex. So from that point, when there are more gazes, flirting, and it provokes you to action, then these actions will lead you to fall into sin, and little by little you will start to plan. This means that now emotions are directing the intellect. Go ahead, intellect, come here, 2000 you must give me a plan to achieve what I desire. It means that desire now controls your intellect, and that is the key to failure. When you let your intellect be guided by emotions, by lust, by ambition, then you use your intellect to think about how to deceive my wife 2000. How am I going to approach that girl, etc., etc. That is the path to failure. What does a smart, pious person do? Let's look at each stage. At first, we said that when the gaze begins, the first sparks of this love and sexual desire start through the look. You fuel these sparks with the gasoline of continuing more, lascivious glances, starting to flirt with the girl, laughing, chatting, and so on. Then you are exacerbating the problem. It means that an inappropriate desire has led you to fall into a feeling, and that feeling will guide you towards sin and will not stop until it annihilates you. So what to do? Most Holy Jesus, the Passion, taught the apostles that if you do not want to fall into betrayal and adultery, close your eye. That is emotional intelligence. In the teaching of the Most Holy Jesus, what does it mean? When you close your eye, the door of the heart, the portal of the heart, when you close it, it's like you no longer let viruses into your computer. When your computer is virus-free, you don't need to fight against them. When you close your eye, you do not allow desire, lust to enter your heart only to later say, oh well, how am I going to fight against that desire, that ambition, that lust that is dominating me, provoking me? Emotional intelligence means that it helps you reflect on each of your attitudes, controlling the consequences in such a way that it prevents you from falling into negative outcomes. Has the morbid gaze uprooted you from your roots? Hasn't it? When you are already in a situation, there is an opportunity to meet more girls. That's what it says. It won't silence your lust by controlling that wild animal of your lust, which we call the inner donkey. More than just a wild inner donkey, it will also embarrass us. Would I call that an invented verb, right? To embarrass means we deceive ourselves. Use and is the path to failure. A person who has developed emotional intelligence never deceives themselves. On the contrary, they awaken themselves, meaning they observe and become aware of the consequences that are already on the way. So that person, we have said, takes responsibility for their actions. That person always thinks about the consequences, about the responsibilities. So he, she is a person loved by his, her family, co-workers, and reliable. Can that person adapt? Why? Because they can control their emotions. They don't say, I don't like it, I like it. No, that no longer exists. This is the path to my success, so I am going to make myself like it. I will control that. It is not against my liking. I will control myself. So that person already has control over their preferences. So I must love that job, my studies, my wife, my family, my partner, this. That's the way. Then they will do everything possible to continue on that path. That person can then adapt in the worst situations, which are very negative economic situations. emotional situations, sentimental situations, etc. Situations do not provoke you. You are the one in control. You can maneuver your way out of these feelings and emotions, steering the ship of your life towards your success. And ending with that word, when you have well-developed emotional intelligence, that compassion, that taqwa, that self-control, you can take the initiative in your life, which means you already think about how. By taking new initiatives, going through and overcoming the problems of life. You have seen many times that internal causes are worse for our failure than external causes. Poverty is what it does, and the worst part is that it will disappoint you and take away your hope. But if a person, whether a fighter or patient, can overcome poverty and achieve success and wealth. A person who has fallen into sin can use emotional intelligence to rise again, to motivate themselves once more, and to avoid repeating the sin. But a person who has already left themselves in the hands of their bad emotions and the temptations of Satan, since I have lost everything, I don't care about that word that doesn't matter to me, that word to relax, those are temptations of Satan. It is precisely when you are handing over the helm of your life to Satan that Satan decides for you. And surely Satan has sworn before God to annihilate us. In the Holy Quran, God says, Satan is your enemy, so take him as your enemy. In the Holy Quran, it explains to us that a believer, an intelligent person, is one who can control themselves and be responsible for their actions. So, in the Holy Quran, every one of your actions, every single one, no matter how small, you are responsible for. This means that the consequences or the results of this fact will come for you. So, today, let us decide to enter a new stage of our lives, which is to continuously develop emotional intelligence. Peace be upon you, and the mercy of Allah and His blessings.